So Dreamsounds is ending on August 1st. Stick around and I will explain what happened, what it means, and how you can help. So, as I'm sure a lot of y'all know, I started this channel a little over 4 years ago, and I was originally just posting like one video a month. I would take like 1 or 2 days out of my month to make a video, put it on YouTube, whatever. And at the beginning of the pandemic, it started to grow, and eventually it got to a point in like fall of 2021 where it was like, oh wow, like I'm actually making decent money from this, like to the point where it's like I'm making more money than I make from my other gigs. And at the time, I work in music, so I was doing like teaching, I record my own songs, I play shows, I do production for other people's records, I do arrangements for other artists, and I write songs on commission. Just basically any freelance stuff I can do within music. It continued to grow, and it got to a point where I was like, wow, like I might be able to just go full-time with YouTube. I wanted to do like the responsible thing and just wait to see if it would be consistent and then also save some money in the process. And so I did that, and it ended up going all right. So I was like, okay, let's go full-time. However, after I started doing like full-time on YouTube, it stopped working. I don't really care to speculate about what happened, but my videos just weren't doing as well as they previously had done, and blah, 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 whatever. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to continue working. I still have time. I did that. I had like 1 or 2 months where it got like better again, but then it just got worse again. And eventually it got to the point in January where I made a video basically just saying all of that and saying that the only way I'd be able to continue this channel in the future is through Patreon. And I set a goal of $1,250 that is just about enough in combination with like ads and stuff to cover my expenses. And I was so grateful. So many people showed support after that and joined the Patreon. I didn't reach my goal, but I got like $1,185 or so, if I remember correctly. And I was like, that's not my goal, but it's like close enough, honestly. And I could always pick up like freelance gigs or something to fill in the gap if needed. So I've been doing that for the last few months, and it still hasn't really been going well. I lost a good number of patrons, and that took me further away from the goal that I originally did not even reach. Just to clarify though, that is not a big deal. Every single person who gave a reason as to why they left the Patreon, like the exit survey, they said that their financial situation changed. And of course I can understand that. So there's no disrespect there. But the channel hasn't really been growing either. I mean, my videos, not only are they just not doing that well, but it seems like it's getting like worse, my situation. And for me, it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I feel really proud of the videos I make. I like making videos about subjects that I'm interested in, and I've honestly tried in the last like year almost every single permutation of like making different content within my field to try new things like longer videos, shorter videos, different subject videos, different types of thumbnails, blah, blah, blah. We're approaching a year of me trying to save the channel after going full time. And I think it's time to just leave it, because from my perspective, I feel like there are a few things that are that feel like they're out of my control. And I'm not the type of person to compromise artistically. If something's not going well, I kind of want to take control of it and try and reshape the way I'm thinking about it, because I certainly wouldn't want the fate of this channel to just be like fizzling out, whether because of like lack of numbers, income, or just me not caring anymore, just like not committing as much time to it. I'm the type of person where it's like, okay, it feels like it's out of my control, and because of that, I feel like I'm failing. But I don't want this to be a failure. I don't want to look back on this and think of it as a failure. So my way of dealing with that is taking it into my own hands. And in this situation, that means ending the channel, but giving it the ending that I think it deserves. So Dreamsounds is going to end August 1st. The channel will still be up, like you'll still be able to watch all the videos, but I just won't be posting any new videos. And the reason why I chose August 1st is because that is the day that I'm getting bottom surgery, which I'm obviously very looking forward to. But this is where you can also help if you want to in the last few months of Dreamsounds. Basically, for that surgery, I will need 2 to 3 months to recover. And I would like to not be stressing about money during that time, especially when I have to let my body just rest and heal as much as it can. So I thought, okay, I'll do 3 more months of Dreamsounds, and I'll also, in the meantime, use the Patreon as sort of like a crowdfunding thing. If you sign up for the Patreon, there are 3 months left of Dreamsounds, and not only will you be funding the remaining videos on the Dreamsounds channel, and also I'll continue to do like the Patreon exclusives and the monthly Patreon hangs and stuff like that, but you will also be helping me have hopefully a buffer. So I'm hoping that for the last 3 months of Dreamsounds, I can kind of get more patrons than I would normally need per month, just so I can have a buffer for the 2 to 3 months of recovery. The link for the Patreon will be in the description, and if you want to make a one-time donation, I'm also going to include a link to that as well. And I think when all is said and done, I'll view this as like, not as a failure, but as something I needed to do that wasn't going to last forever. And for me, I mean, I've talked about this before, but I am a US American who lives in Germany, and that's been really interesting, like to run a channel mainly about US culture, about Disney of all things. It's allowed me to like work through feelings and like my relationship with where I was born. So that's been really interesting. And of course, with the whole gender thing, I clearly had a lot to work through. And it turned out like happening that way that I ended up just like working through my stuff through my videos. They started out as just like, oh, I want to make history videos about Disney music. And then it became like a sort of more personal project. And it was also great for me during the early stages of my transition, especially during a time where I was singing for Dreamsounds, but I did not feel comfortable with my voice. And so I was not really recording or writing any songs during this time. It's been a long journey for me with retraining my voice and doing stuff like that. But a few months ago, it finally clicked and I'm singing again, I'm writing music again. And I think it took that as well for me to just be like, why am I not doing that? Like, why am I spending so much time on this thing that's just not working out? And that brings me to a question that I'm sure some of y'all are thinking, which is, Marlena, why can't you just do Dreamsounds part-time? Why can't you just take the Patreon money that you have, take the money you make from ads, and just commit less of your time to it? My brain just does not work that way, unfortunately. As I mentioned, these videos are very personal art projects, and I have a sort of creative side of my brain where I cannot focus on anything else until I'm done with the creative project. And so even when I wasn't doing Dreamsounds full time, I was always thinking about it. That's usually why my process is very thorough and often very like emotionally intense. To have less time to work on videos would only prolong that process. And like I said, I want to get back to doing music. I want to get back to being creative in other ways. And I think if I were to try and continue doing Dreamsounds and continue making it this art project essentially, and also do other endeavors, it would just lead to like me compromising. Sometimes things don't work out, that's like totally fine. And maybe, I think that's even a bad way to phrase it. Maybe it's just that things work out sometimes differently than you thought they would. I'll always be a Disney fan. Like, I'm clearly very passionate about this stuff, but I was never going to run this channel forever. And like, when I started to notice like, okay, it's failing, I want to take control of it and end it on my own terms. So I have a lot of stuff planned in the next 3 months. I am, of course, going to make one last big video about Howard Ashman. I'm also going to make a big video ending my High School Musical analysis. I was originally going to make it parts 2 and 3, but now, because of the circumstances, I'm going to shove them all together. Unfortunately, there are some videos that will have to be left behind. There are some videos that were already in production, things that I've shot, some interviews, stuff like that. But I think that those 2 big videos, the Howard Ashman and the High School Musical ones, will be enough to keep me busy for 3 months maybe. But I'm also going to try and fit in other things during this time as well. I don't know if I'll stop making videos forever. Like, who knows if like in a year Ron DeSantis will say something particularly ridiculous and I feel like I need to respond or make a video documenting what's happened. But to be honest, even that, I can't really, right now it just doesn't seem like something I would want to do. Dreamsounds as it is now with like regular videos and like keeping tabs on things and trying to make this like a constant source of output, that's going to be gone come August 1st. And if you want to help me set fire to this part of my life, or in a fun way, like not literally, I'm speaking metaphorically, in a fun way, if you want to help me just like close this part of my life and also prepare for the next part with recovering from surgery and stuff like that. Patreon link in the description. I would greatly appreciate anybody who wants to help me on this journey. It has been truly a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching these videos over the last few years. It's been so wild for me to share my thoughts with the world and see that like not only do some people like what I say and like agree with it, but also they share their own experiences and response. I've also gotten so many messages from people saying like, you helped me realize I was trans, or like you helped me come out as queer. And what can I even say to that? I'm not going to cry because, believe me, I've cried enough about this situation. I certainly do not need to cry more, and certainly not on camera. Yeah, to just be able to participate in that exchange and learn that the videos that I've made have inspired people in the same way that other queer people and trans people have inspired me to become myself. What more could I ask for? I've also gotten recognized on the street. I was in New York and twice in a day, like 2 people just recognized me and John. And also at Disneyland Paris, I've been recognized. I've also spoken with like people who work for Disney and other YouTubers, people whose work I admire. And it seems that like they like the videos I've made. So what more could I ask for? This has been such a pleasure. I am very proud of the work that I've made, but I think at some point I just have to leave it at that. I just have to accept that I will be proud of what I've done here. but I don't want to think of it as a failure. So I'm not going to let myself. I'm going to take it into my own hands. And I'm going to finish it the way that I want to. Don't worry about me. I will be fine. There is so much more to life than this. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope y'all will join me for the last 3 months of Dream Sounds.